API first. It's a great word. It's a great term. It's a great hashtag. And it doesn't say nearly enough. When we're building APIs, we're concerned with three things primarily. We're concerned with consistency, availability, and security. Everything feeds from that. Everything feeds into that. Everything needs to think about the API to match consistency, availability, and security. When we're designing your API to begin with, it needs to work the same everywhere. It needs to be predictable. It needs to follow a common set of rules so that our API consumers can understand it. Doesn't matter who developed it. It doesn't matter what code you developed it in. What matters is that consistency and that predictability. I mean, that seems pretty obvious. But then when we get to things like availability, from a DevSecOps standpoint, we need to think about the API in terms of the architecture, the pluggability, the high availability. We need to be able to think about how it leverages common tools for, things that can be distributed throughout the network. Sure, you're building a standalone service, but it sits in an ecosystem that can leverage tools like WAFs and gateways and policy enforcement, which of course brings us to security. Everything has to be zero trust, which means exposing everything as an API, because then you can create that consistent security. It's identity, it's traceability, it's policy enforcement. It's all of these things that you have to think about this service that you're exposing as an API, not just on its own, but how other things see it, how you can see that chain of evidence, how it fits into everything. Again, API first isn't think about it at the beginning and then stop thinking about it. API first is no matter what you're doing in software development, DevSecOps, security, any of these basic things that we're doing with creating these applications, all of these need to think API first, not just the folks building, quote, the API.